This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As you can see, I'm covering and showing you the repetition that's being done in Hollywood. It's pretty hard to argue it. I understand that people will argue channels like this and will say we're crazy and all this stuff, but I'm showing you the repetition that they're using on you, the consistency. And the only argument a sleeping zombie could possibly make is that, witches are fun and entertaining, and everybody wants to see a movie about a witch, which I find highly hard to believe, not just because of the fact that I'm a Christian. But you're telling me people want to see this junk over and over again, the same plot? Ooh, a witch, and then we're told witches and Satanists and these people aren't real. Well, here's another one for you. How's this? I mean, you could go back, just the videos I've done in the past week with celebrities who are admitting to being witches, movies and shows about witches, right? Talking about Disney constantly with witches and the theme of witchcraft. Now, this was just announced a day or two ago. Once again, they're remaking a movie. This time, they're remaking the movie The Witches. It must be a coincidence, right? Now, the only reason that they remake most of these films, even though people will tell you it's about money and, because everybody obviously knows, even if you're someone who's asleep and you love all these movies and everything, remakes of movies suck. I mean, let's be realistic, right? When they make a remake, it's never as good as the first movie, whether you like movies or not. I mean, they suck. The reason that they make remakes is because they have to indoctrinate a new generation with the same mind control programming. Why do you think they constantly remake Cinderella? Wouldn't people who like that garbage say, well, it's not like the original Cinderella, the cartoon Cinderella, or the original Beauty and the Beast, even though, Beauty and the Beast goes back a long time. It's not just the Disney cartoons. And the same with Cinderella, right? But every couple years they remake it. That is because there's a new generation of children to indoctrinate with this crap. That's why they do it. Because a kid who was born in 2000 and, say 14 or 13, who's now 4, 5, 6, right? This in that age range, or even someone who's 10, let's say, right? 2008. They're not going to be, looking for the 1990 film The Witches, because they're not going to be programmed through the commercials and seeing it and going, I want to see it, right? Because obviously they use the TV and the marketing on the television to promote these movies. So they're remaking The Witches to program another generation, but this just must be a huge coincidence, right? I mean, there must have been real high demand. People everywhere have been clamoring for the remake of The Witches. Huh? I mean, really? The movie was crap for anyone who saw the movie. Okay? And this is just more indoctrinating with witches. I've said that this year, I believe, we're seeing the rise in witches through feminism. That is the whole point of the feminist movement. And all you can do is you type in witches. Look at the movies, right, in the last couple years. You've had The Witch, a horror movie about witches committing blood sacrifice. You've had Seven Witches, right? All these TV shows about witches. You have the Witches of Eastwick showing up. Hansel and Gretel, witch hunters. Witches. But they're not real, right? It's just a fairy tale thing that everybody seems to love to talk about. This is an indoctrination into accepting of witchcraft and sorcery, teaching people subliminally about it, and mind controlling children into wanting to be it. So I've never seen the actual film The Witches. I mean, for obvious reasons. It came out in 1990. I don't know who would sit through this kind of crap. But the plot of Witches is about, actually, it actually sounds better than you would think, because I believe from what I've read here, in IMDb, as well as, its wiki page, they talk about the plot being killing off witches, right? They devise a plan, one of the characters, a plan to kill witches by sneaking into the Grand High Witch's room because they're making some type of formula, right? Let me read some of the plot to you in case you aren't familiar with it. I'm sure they'll change the plot, though, of course, and make the witches look wonderful, because that's what they do. But either way, they're inadvertently brainwashing people into the acceptance of witches and seeing this stuff. And they're showing you exactly what goes on, right, with these potions and these spells and all this crap that people think is make-believe. The character discovers, let me start here. A vacation with his grandma, this kid is warned about real witches, female demons, with a genocidal hatred for children. Okay, so the witches hate children and they want to kill children, as you'll hear, all of whom emit an odor obnoxious to witches. Helga, one of the characters, tells him that her childhood friend fell victim to a witch and cursed to spend the rest of her life trapped inside a painting. That sounds real interesting. After Luke's parents are killed in a car accident, the grandma becomes his legal mom. They stay at a seaside resort. They meet and befriend a guy while getting on a bad side of the hotel manager. After his pet mice frighten a maid, blah, blah, boring. I'm trying to get to the point about the witches. Hang on, I'm doing this in real time. I don't pause and re-edit my videos. Luke inadvertently discovers the witches while playing with his pet mice, where the witches are holding a meeting. The Grand High Witch unveils her latest weapon, a formula to turn children into mice, which they will use on confectionery products in sweet shops and candy stores to be opened using money provided by the Grand High Witch. Having already been given chocolate laced with the formula a few hours earlier, one of the guys is lured into the room, and he turns into a mouse. I mean, just the plot of this. People actually want to sit and watch this stuff? Holy moly. Luke attempts to escape and runs, blah, blah, blah. He devises a plan to kill the witches, which, sounds like a pretty good plan. Luke manages to drop the bottle into a pot of... Is this hate the movies? I guess the movie's hate speech, folks. I'm not going to be able to advertise it on YouTube because they're devising a plan to go against witches. Long story short, one of the High Witch's assistants, has a feud with the main witch because she bosses her around too much. So she becomes a good witch and helps the children, helps out the child by getting rid of the bad witches, right? So you see there's a good witch, right? And this is the stuff I talk about with, a turd being a turd, a witch is a witch. I get messages all the time. I'm a good witch, and those are bad witches, and we practice white magic. It's embarrassing either way. Why don't you get a life, okay? White magic, black magic, brown turd, green turd. What's the difference, really? Let's be realistic here. So they're remaking this movie. It's not a surprise. It's another movie about witches. And you can see if you go through my video library, I've been covering this. I've been talking about how you're just seeing, not just films about Satanism. And yes, a lot of them are horror films, but you're seeing this feminist movement involving witches from these shows that are on television. We've seen them throughout the years, right? Charmed, the movie The Craft, the witch movies I just read to you. And there's many other shows on TV now about witchcraft, some of which I've covered. I just can't think of off the top of my head. And shows on Netflix, right? And they're bringing in Robert Zemeckis to direct it. Zemeckis has obviously done many, many films with predictive programming, including Back to the Future, which isn't a surprise. Zemeckis also is a huge fan of bagels, which shouldn't surprise anyone either. He's probably going to be eating bagel bites or bagel bites while he's directing the film. And this is how it works. And this is why they constantly do it. To indoctrinate new generations with the same stuff. So that's why you see the remakes of these, right? I mean, has anyone ever met anyone, whether you're listening to this channel and you don't like me and don't like the channel, but you still listen? Anyone know anyone who was like, man, that movie, The Witches from 1990. I mean, look at the graphics and stuff of this. I mean, this is really what witches do look like. I mean, to me, with their makeup on. It's pretty good resemblance. But has anyone seen this bomb and been like, boy, we really need to get The Witches remade, right? Boy, it would be great if they remake The Witches. I mean, they've done it. They've tried to do it various times. This isn't the first time. There are other remakes of this absolutely awful film, right? It even says here, why does Hollywood keep handing out film adaptations of Ronald Dahl children's books like they're candy or Halloween? Right? Why are they obsessed with the film industry? I mean, this is, why is there an obsession for one more adaptation of The Witches? Well, what do you think there's an obsession for? And why there's an obsession for it? Okay? Nobody was demanding it. Trust me, it's not in high demand by anybody. Even the people in the movie or people who are fans of the movie are probably like, why would they remake it? You know what I mean? Because this is how they indoctrinate generations and future generations. And that's why Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Wizard of Oz, right? There's a handful of these films that they constantly remake every 20 years or so for a new generation to be brainwashed into it. They could do it in cartoon form. They could do it with actors. The point is that they need it out there so that moms and dads who have seen it when they were kids, they go, hey, oh, there's a new Cinderella. We could take our kid to the theater because the mom and dad have seen it and they like it, right? and it's all a form of MK Ultra mind control programming. It's to indoctrinate and desensitize people to this stuff, and to, show them what's really going on. And that's why The Witches is coming back, which most people really probably could care less about. But I wanted to point out to you because here's more repetition, right? Call me crazy, call me whatever you want. I'm not losing a wink of sleep over it. Could care less about other people's opinions of what I say. I know what I'm showing you here. I'm showing you the repetition that's being used on you and used on the masses. There's a reason that they're constantly making stuff about sorcery, spells, and witchcraft. There's a reason that a bomb movie like The Witches is being remade for no reason whatsoever, and they're putting a big-time Hollywood bagel producer, director like Zemeckis on it to handle it, to make sure that, he fills it with the imagery, the black and white tiles, all the stuff we always see will be in it, and to make sure it's influential to children as much as possible, because this is a guy who has made many films that have been influential on people. So The Witches, just more of the same crap, folks. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.